Good day to you all over the world, and welcome to Scriptural Daily Devotional today, Saturday, 21st December 2024. My name is Cynthia White Snow. Our scripture of the day is Exodus 20:14. It says, "You shall not commit adultery." Adultery refers to the act of a married individual having sexual relations with someone other than their spouse. That is, sleeping with someone who is not your spouse as a married person. Hebrews 13 verse 4 says, "Marriage is honorable among all, and the bed undefiled, but fornicators and adulterers God will judge." Now, I want us to look at the dangers of adultery. This thing called adultery is really killing and destroying a lot in our society. And I would like us to go through the dangers of adultery. Number one, it makes you a covenant breaker. Proverbs 2:16-19 says, "To deliver you from the immoral woman, from the seductress who flatters with her words, who forsakes the companion of her youth, and forgets the covenant of her God." You made a vow in the presence of God. Committing adultery is you breaking your vow to your partner and to God. It is going back on your word, thereby disrespecting your partner and your God, who you called to be a witness on that day. Number two, it alters your life and destiny. Proverbs 2, verse 18-19 says, "For her house leads down to death, and her paths to the dead. None who go to her return, nor do they regain the path of life." You wonder what is going on in your life, how your destiny is being altered, how things are not working anymore, because you slept with someone you shouldn't have slept with in the first place. You see people growing in their businesses, but once they sleep with someone, maybe a male or a female, everything just goes down. Some people, because they met someone, they slept with that person and their life changes. They begin to struggle. Something they should have achieved in 1 year, it takes them 10 years because someone else has deposited something in them. What are you looking for outside of your marriage? And then you cause the one who is not part of it to start suffering for what you have done. That is your partner. James 4:17 says, "Therefore to him who knows to do good and does not do it, to him it is a sin." You know what you're doing is a sin, but you still go ahead to do this same thing. So you don't just commit one sin. You don't just commit one sin. It's not just one offense. You know this thing is wrong. You decided to do it. The Matthew 5:27-28, Jesus speaking says, "You have heard that it was said to those of old, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman or to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart." You thought of it. "Thou shalt not commit adultery." That's disobedience to the word. "And therefore to him who knows to do good and does not do it, to him it is a sin." That's like a 3-count charge if I'm to be the judge. If I were to search the scriptures more and more and more and more, the charges just keep increasing. So you can imagine when you stand before God. For one sin, you have so many counts. Let's move on. Number 3, it breaks the home. Now, it is not funny at all. It breaks the home. It divides the home. It destroys society. Jesus speaking in the book of Matthew says, "If anyone divorces other than adultery, then to him it's a sin." Marital infidelity is a wicked plan of the devil to destroy the home. The same way love or charity begins at home is the same way hate and everything bad begins at home. The devil understands this and knows that if you want to control and destroy a society, you start from the home. When a man or woman strays from home, it is easy to get his family. Strike the shepherd and the sheep scatters. Number 4, it makes you a liar and unworthy of trust. I read of a man, Ross Perot, who fires people once there is a case against them of infidelity. When asked about the news media about his company's policy of firing executives who cheated on their wives, he said, "If a man's own wife can't trust him, why should I?" Now, I commend him for doing that. But in this case, it's not just women, it's not just men, rather, women as well. Probably in the days of old, men were more into adultery. But in our generation today, it's as if women are competing with men in this. So as I'm talking about men, it also refers to women. Number 5, you become one with the one you slept with. Sex is meant for only 2 people who are married to each other because it makes them become one in body, soul, and spirit. So if you do it with someone you are not married to, you have become one with them. I didn't say so, the scripture says so. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 15 to 16 says, "Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I then take the member of Christ and make them members of a harlot? Certainly not." 16 says, "Or do you not know that he who is joined to a harlot is one body with her? For the 2," he says, "shall become one flesh." So if that person has 7 demons, you have inherited it because you are now one. Then if you sleep with multiple partners, you deposit a portion of you everywhere and you inherit a portion of them. And then tomorrow you blame God for the misfortunes of your life. Number 6, it leads to dishonor and loss of the fruits of your labor. Proverbs 5 verse 3 to 10. I'll read very fast. NLT version says, "For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave, for she cares nothing about the path of life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize. So now, my sons and our daughters, listen to me. Never stray from what I'm about to say. You do, stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house. For women, his house. If you do, you will lose your honor and will lose to merciless people all you have achieved." Verse 10 says, "Strangers will consume your wealth, and someone else will enjoy the fruit of your labor." There are men and women you sleep with and endanger your life and destiny. You will lose all you have worked for. It is not written on the forehead. The person may look decent, but the spirits they carry are not decent. Be satisfied with your wife and your husband. Be satisfied with your husband. What are you looking for outside? Proverbs 5 verse 18 to 20 says, "Let your fountain be blessed." I'll take that again. Proverbs 5 verse 18 to 20 says, "Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth." 19 says, "And as a loving deer and a graceful doe, let her breasts satisfy you at all times, and always be enraptured with her love. For why should you, my son, be enraptured by an immoral woman and be embraced in the arms of a seductress?" So you see, let your wife satisfy you. Contentment comes from the Lord. It is because you lack relationship from God. That is why you're not contented. Number 7, verse 23 of the scripture I just read says, "He shall die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray." You will become careless in every sense, and that can lead to your death. I will stop here today. We'll continue on Monday because tomorrow, Sunday, is our day for special kindness. Don't miss it. See you tomorrow by the mercies of God, and bye for now.